VSiN's own Aaron Moore joins the program, VSiN.com writer at Pub Relation Prof on X. And we've got you over Skype today, so super excited to see your face, Aaron. How are you?
Very good, Stormy. Michael, thanks for having me.
Yes, great to have you as well, especially after another crazy night of college football. I know you were high on this Duke team coming into the season. You bet their conference wins over that 3.5 win total, but I don't think that you counted Clemson week 1 as one of those wins potentially in your handicap.
Boy, I'd love to be sitting here telling you I saw that Clemson loss. I saw Duke beating them back in the summertime. Would love to tell you that. That wasn't the case. And it's kind of one of the reasons why I like to bet conference win totals over, because you look at it, they go to Duke, Clemson. It's a conference game. There's a different level of excitement. There's a different level of the fans, the atmosphere it might play into it. So I think when you're looking at bets, look at conference wins, either over or under, because there's a whole different element to it than the entire win total of a team. And that could be in basketball or football.
You know, Aaron, I mean, look, like I tell my stockbroker all the time, don't apologize for making money. I mean, you called they're going to go over, take the win, right? Even if you didn't see it happening. But look, Duke's impressive. I got to say, they look like they were good. Their team looks different than I've ever seen them before. So I have this theory, and I want to hear what your thoughts on. I mean, Sam Hartman's a really good player. I know he's 24 years old, but he's a really good quarterback. And that Notre Dame PR machine can create a Heisman. Do you have any interest in betting him for the Heisman? I think it was 12-1 last time I checked. And then tie that into, for some reason, you like NC State getting the points against Notre Dame this week, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're going to look at handicapping the Heisman, Michael, just from a media standpoint, then there's no better person to be the quarterback than Notre Dame. You know he's going to get national attention. You know there's always going to be a focus on his games, and he's going to play high-profile games. So Sam Hartman has that for an advantage. Maybe Caleb Williams has something close to that. Now, Hartman has to be able to produce, and not every quarterback at Notre Dame has won a Heisman, so there's still the production element of it. So I think what Sam Hartman has going for him, if you do choose to take a flyer on him to win the Heisman, the media will be there for him. He'll have the support. Now, I'm going to go a little bit different this weekend because I was impressed with what I saw with NC State and what Brennan Armstrong can run the ball. Dave Doran has the ability to play a close game, great defense. The aforementioned Sam Hartman played 3 times against NC State while he was at Wake Forest, and in those 3 games, he has 6 interceptions. So there's a certain book now that NC State has on Sam Hartman, and I think that 8 points was a great line where NC State at home, big game for them. I think they keep it close.
I am a Notre Dame fan. I am a Sam Hartman fan, but I agree with your thoughts on Brennan Armstrong, and I like the fact that he was able to reconnect with his former offensive coordinator when he had that incredible season at Virginia. Robert and the two of them back together, their heads together, could be a good thing for the Wolfpack moving forward this season. Shedeur Sanders, though, and Travis Hunter, Colorado had an amazing debut under Deion Sanders, obviously, with the upset win over TCU, but you don't think people should be running the window to bet those two for Heisman?
Well, you know what Michael was saying when he talks to his stockbroker, I'm going to tell you what I talk to my kids about. Don't overreact. And when I always say that, don't overreact, and easier said than done. I watched the game. I'm sure you guys watched the game. It was the biggest talked about college football game of the weekend. And you have for Colorado 2 players that look like Heisman Trophy winners. They have the flash. They have the statistics. Sanders going over 500 yards, amazing. Hunter playing all those snaps on both sides of the ball. Those are great elements to have for a Heisman Trophy winner. However, don't overreact, because I would like to make a bet, Stormy. I don't know if there's any book that's willing to take it, but I'm going to bet next week or these upcoming games, there's going to be a spectacular player or 2. There's going to be a new narrative. Blank, fill in that blank, looks like the new Heisman Trophy winner. So you just really can't overreact off of one game. And I think to put this in perspective, if you want to bet Sanders or Hunter to win the Heisman Trophy, there has to be a certain combination of Colorado wins. So put a couple together. Are they going to beat Oregon? Are they going to beat Oregon State, Utah, USC, Washington State? So for either one of those 2 guys to win the Heisman, their team is going to have to win at least a couple of those games.
And just to jump in here real quickly, too, on that same topic, like you look at how we were watching the LSU-Florida State game, and we saw those Heisman odds moving in real time, where Jordan Travis gets shorter, Jaden Daniels goes from 8-1 to now he's 30-1. We remember last year, Anthony Richardson, week 1, and Florida upsetting Utah in the Swamp, the big win there, and everybody's talking about him for Heisman, and look at how the mighty had fallen throughout the course of that season. So this is a market that's super volatile, and you got to pick your spot, certainly for teams that you think are going to be able to have a little bit more of that long-term success. What was maybe something else, just something big that you feel like you learned or took away from week 1 that can help us as bettors as we try to get set here for week 2 and beyond?
So we just talked about the Colorado-Nebraska game. That was one of the biggest stories of the weekend. But I think from a betting perspective, what happened at the end of that Penn State game could be the biggest story of betting in college football. Penn State is up by 16 points with only a few seconds to go. The spread is 21 against West Virginia. You're in Happy Valley. There's tons of happy people with their white and blue shirts rooting on Penn State. A 16-point victory was not going to cover that 21 points. So what happens during the remaining seconds of the game? James Franklin, instead of having his team take a knee, he has them score a touchdown, which put them 3 scores with 12, 13 seconds to go. In this day and age, let's call it in the VSiN era, let's call it the legalized sports era, coaches know the spreads. They talk about the spreads. They are around alumni. They're around media. The spread is everywhere. So to say they don't know the spread, I don't believe that for a second. So what I saw at the end of that Penn State game was James Franklin wanting to cover the spread for the home team, make those fans happy. Now, what I'm going to do moving forward is I'm going to put James Franklin on a list, and I'm going to see if my list can get bigger. Who are some coaches that really want to cover a spread? And I think you keep that in mind during the game when you're live in betting. So when I didn't see the spread at the end because I wasn't watching it thinking they were going to get the 21 points. But now you have to have that original spread in mind. If a coach is going to make those home fans happy, he's probably going to find a way to get those points to cover. I think that's a new element in today's legalized sports era, are what coaches cover. And I think they cover for a reason, and that's to make those home fans, alumni, happy.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's chasing this. I think he's chasing style points too. I think he knows he's got a good team. He's not in the national championship conversation, and he's hoping people will forget about what the last play was and just see that he had a 23-point win in the opening day game, and I think that he's going to let that go and kind of work his way through that. But look, how can you not know what the point spread is? When I was in the league, we knew who the favorites were. You kind of knew a little bit of everything, but you didn't have it in front of you constantly. It's running across the ESPN ticker. We have there's network. So to say you don't know, you're really lying. You really don't know it. Let's go to the pride of New Jersey. Rutgers, big win opening day against Northwestern. Scored 24 points, which is up from their 17 that they scored last year. Held Northwestern to 7. You like them in laying the 10 against Temple.
And I think this situation, Michael, we look at style points. It's a good connection here that I don't know how many wins Rutgers is going to get this season. And they have Temple coming in Philadelphia, a team an hour and a half or so to the south of them. This is a big game in terms of Rutgers getting back to at least Northeast pride, at least the ability to be one of the better teams in the Northeast. Temple certainly did not do anything to impress against Akron. You have Rutgers with that Big Ten lineup. I think they take it to Temple, and I'm going to use your words here, Michael. Style points matter for Greg Schiano.
Aaron, awesome stuff. Appreciate you.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Aaron.
much.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.